fellow seed keepers, seed warriors, defenders of food freedom. We're coming to the end of a year of strength and determination. We're coming to the end of a year where marches against Monsanto allowed people from every walk of life and every corner of the world to rise in self-organized freedom and power. It's also the year Monsanto gave itself a World Food Prize to counter the propaganda that they didn't think was good for them. So they unleashed their own propaganda machinery as well as their aggression. I have never, in my 30 years of dealing with GMOs and the corporate giants, the old war industry which became the agrochemical industry, which is now the seed industry, use the kind of brutal, violent force that they're now using. And that's what we have to face in 2014. It was the year when across the world in desperation, Monsanto started to push laws that would destroy the alternatives that people are choosing in their freedom. Gardens are exploding everywhere, both because people want to turn to living with the earth, but also because people want to know what they're eating. They want to grow their own food. And seed saving has spread across the world, as we witnessed in the Global Citizens Campaign for Seed Freedom. These movements are sowing the seeds of a beautiful, livable, free future. And those are the seeds that Monsanto and friends would like to destroy. So country after country, there is an attempt to pass seed laws, to make it illegal, to have seeds that are open, that are free, that are renewable, and replace them with seeds that are industrially bred, uniform, and covered with intellectual property rights, either patents or breeders' rights. Some of these laws come in the garb of UPOV. Some of these laws come in the garb of compulsory registration. But whether you look at the Seed Act that is proposed by the European Commission, or the harmonization laws and the breeders' laws and plant variety protection laws of Africa, or Canadian laws, or the laws in Central and Latin America, everywhere the attempt is to impose uniformity and criminalize diversity. At a time where we know diversity produces more, as the Navdanya report, Health per Acre, shows, that diversity is the only source of resilience and evolution into a climate unstable world. Imposing uniformity is not just destroying diversity. It is imposing vulnerability. It is imposing malnutrition. It is imposing hunger. And these laws have to be resisted, as we resisted them in India. In 2004, there was an attempt to pass such a law for compulsory registration. The new draft has been forced to recognize that the farmers have been the original breeders. Their rights cannot be touched. And in Colombia, the peasants marched and undid the intellectual property rights clauses related to seed in the US-Colombia Free Trade Agreement. We'll have to keep saying no to these laws everywhere across the world. And the law of the seed that we have drafted, that is available on Navdanya's website, is tapping the best of science and is tapping the best of jurisprudence. It's bad science to impose uniformity in a world that can only produce sustainably through diversity. It is so wrong to privatize the intellectual and biological commons through patenting and breeders' rights. The real law of the seed has to be based on diversity and resilience, on reclaiming the commons. And that is something we will do and we'll have to keep doing till the seed is free and we are free. But the seed freedom is so intimately related to food freedom, as we have witnessed in the demands for labeling and the right to know. again, across the world. Most of the countries have labeling laws. But in the US, in 2012, the labeling effort in California was defeated by money, $40 million. Again, in Washington, the same was done. And yet Hawaii, people have marched all year. I was there in January, and the movements haven't stopped. And they're moving very effectively towards getting labeling. But most importantly, they have decided in their hearts and their minds that their right to know and choose is a fundamental right in any democracy, which cannot be a democracy if it is not a food democracy. Our work for 2014 for celebrating and defending our seed freedom and food freedom is clearly laid out for us. In the area of seed freedom, the big challenge is to deal with these laws imposing uniformity and monopoly so that we can have free sharing of seed and the saving of seed and the growing of good food through good seed. Every dictatorship has used uniformity, whether it was the dictatorships of religion or the dictatorships based on race like apartheid. We remember and honor Nelson Mandela, and the fight for seed freedom and food freedom continues in the tradition of Gandhi and King and Nelson Mandela. And that tradition cannot be extinguished. Never, ever in human history has dictatorship lasted forever. But freedom goes on and on and on. And in this year 2013, as so much science started to show, first, that the assumptions of genetic engineering based on genetic determinism and genetic reductionism are wrong. Across the world, the new science of epigenetics is showing that the environment influences the genes, and genes are not one-way directions of a master molecule giving instructions. Across the world, agroecology is being recognized as the more sophisticated science of agriculture than industrial agriculture. The International Assessment of Agricultural Science and Technology for Development, or the FAO, showing that small farmers produce more, or the ILO, giving a wake-up call to turn towards ecological farming. Every institution of the United Nations is recognizing that ecological farming and agroecology has to be the basis of the future. And yet at this time, one of the most important papers published by Dr. Seralini through peer review in the Journal of Food and Chemical Toxicology started to get attacked. And now they've even replaced the editor of the journal with a Monsanto man, Dr. Goodman, and had something done that doesn't get done in science. A paper is published, it's published. The only thing you do is, if you have a better idea and if you can find fault, write another paper. But that's not how the new corporate dictators are functioning. They take over journals and then have papers retracted without scientific debate. This is a knowledge dictatorship. And an important element of our work in 2014 will be to defend the freedom of knowledge, knowledge sovereignty, the independence of knowledge and science from this corporate manipulation. And this manipulation is happening at the level of imposing an outmoded, mechanistic, deterministic, reductionist model of science on the world that knows better. I did my PhD in quantum theory. We know the world is a non-separable world, and they're working on separation and determinism as the very basis of doing genetic engineering. Controlling journals, Nature, Science, Scientific American, the Journal of Chemical Toxicology, Food Toxicology. And that's not all. To capture the mind of those who are saying no to GMOs, to confuse people, they've now unleashed a bunch of PR people. 2013 was the year Mark Linus emerged on the horizon, saying he's a founder of the anti-GM movement. We were 5 of us who started to question the science of genetic determinism, who started to to question the entry of the war industry into our seed and into life sciences. Mark Linus was nowhere around. So the first lie is that he's a founder. The second lie is that he's found the science. Because the real science is telling us we need to work on biosafety. We need to ensure there's a right to know. We cannot rush ahead with imposing hazards on the world. Lies will not last. Truth always wins. In India, we have a beautiful phrase, Satyamev Jayate. Truth always wins. Sowing fear in people's minds by hounding scientists and activists does not win. Fear doesn't win. Fearlessness and courage wins. Dividing people, hijacking institutions is an anti-democratic terrorist act in our times. This new form of terrorism doesn't yet have a name, but we experience it in our daily lives, and we will have to transcend it for real freedom. 2014 will be a year where we will join hands and be stronger and stand together in stronger solidarity till, as Rumi said, in this field, in this beautiful field, we will only sow seeds of love.